All right, so I had a question about the dimensions of my Abloy pick, the tip I made and stuff. So I thought I would just go over that a little bit here. Let me zoom this in. Hopefully I can keep it all in frame so you guys can see. All right, so looks like we're in focus. So this was designed specifically for my Albany Classic. It works for this lock, but only barely. And anyway, so that's my disclaimer. And I made a few mistakes that I will do differently when I have to remake this, because the pick head has now broken completely free. Spins around on the shaft. Anyway, actually, the tension head spins on the shaft. The picking tip itself is got a shaft that is at least, I'm going to do this in inches because I live in America. So, my shaft is just over an inch long. The width of the actual picking tip, am I even in frame for most of this? I don't know. Probably not, because I'm way out here. All right, let's try this again. So you got about an inch of free shaft there. The tip is somewhere on the neighborhood of 0.026, 0.028 inches. It is 0.226, 0.227 across in this dimension. Depth, we're at roughly 0.104. The shaft is narrow. It's not even. I didn't do a good job of grinding that, so it has thicker or thinner parts down the length of the shaft, but it's 0.06 roughly at its widest point. 0.060. The tension head. This is where the bulk of my mistakes are. I made it so I was afraid of the shaft interfering with the picking head here. So the shaft is off center a little bit towards the flat, and it really should have been the other way, because I ended up having to grind a bunch of the shaft off so it wouldn't catch on the other wheels. It really should be back further towards the curved part. But the dimensions are going to be pretty much the same as the pick head, because it's fitting the same. So I got 0.23 across. We got about 0.108, 0.11, somewhere in there. And it also, I made it, I narrowed it this way. So this dimension is wrong. I should have left it the original length, because there's a gap behind the last disc and the end of the body. And with this, it can actually get in between there and spin. If it were longer, it wouldn't be able to, and it'd be easier to tension. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The picking head here is made, it's just a piece of 1/4 inch stainless steel tubing that I ground down, cut out the chunk and ground down. You can watch my video on picking the Abloy, and I take it all apart and show it in there too with basic dimensions, but I thought I'd go over that a little more detail for anybody who is interested. Like I said, it barely works in here because this shaft, oops. If the shaft gets much thinner, it starts to get really weak, and then it can twist. But at this thickness, it really needs to be thinner than this, because at this thickness, it can, when you're picking wheels to the back, or discs to the back, it can bump the ones in the front out of position, because mine has several that are 90 degrees offset from each other, and in which case it can really start to interfere with itself. So to actually pick this lock, I have to start at the back and kind of work my way forward, which is interesting because the last wheel, or the last disc back here that I can pick doesn't bind first. So my procedure was turn it a little bit, check the disc ahead of it, the two discs ahead of it, check it again. When the two discs ahead of it start to bind, I know that one's in pretty much the correct location, and then I can work my way out from there, and it binds just fine. But that farthest back disc doesn't give a clear bind indication, but if I don't get it set, then I can't get back and get it in the proper position without affecting the front discs. So I have to get it where I need to be by checking to see when the other discs start to drag, and then I can get it picked. So anyway, I hope that clears it up for anybody who's interested. If you have any specific questions, leave them in the comments below, and I will try to answer them. And again, thanks for watching.